Yes, so welcome everyone, and thanks for attending this second version of the Quantum Field Connection. We did our first back in February. My name is Josh. I'm the guy behind Speak Good Human, the practice site, and we are honored to have Keri Davis with us here today to help us better understand the quantum field and how we can begin to use it with our animals, as well as those of our friends or anyone else who want to help. So as I said, we started this program back in February, and we had our first workshop soon after that, and we had put 6 of the animals up on the site for people to work with. And each of those animals have these intentions along with them that their people had set for them, and to help them get to a better place. And all of those animals have since reached that intention, those intentions, and they've gotten to a much more positive place. And so I'm assuming that the quantum field connection has helped them. And we have additionally 8 other animals on the site currently, and you guys have access to those, and you're welcome to work with them whenever you want. We're going to be working with one of them today, and we'll see how that goes. So since the last time in February, Keri has also been continuing to delve into this world of energy and the quantum field, and she has lots of new techniques and information to share with us. And I'll introduce her to you in a moment officially. But I first want to just take one more second to help you navigate this workshop. So after I introduce Keri, we're going to give you another little brief intro to quantum field connection, and Keri's going to share with you a little of the science behind it, how we can begin using it, some really cool techniques and tips to get the most out of it with your animals, and then we'll work with an animal in need so you can see how that works, and we'll see what comes of it. And then finally we'll have a Q&A after that, and you can ask some of your questions. Also, you'll notice if you're logged in on the computer, you'll notice there's the workshop wall is there, and down below you'll see a chat mode. And you can always ask questions there or interact with anyone else in the workshop at any time. It won't disrupt anything. It's a perfect way to do it. And when we go into Q&A mode, you'll also be able to ask questions that way. And then you'll also see a place for resources down at the bottom. And I've included the photo of the animal we're going to work with today, as well as some other videos that are pretty cool about how sound and energy affect matter. And that kind of ties right into the quantum field and how this whole thing actually works. So if you're calling in without a computer, and you could still participate in all of this if you're just calling in with a phone, Keri is doing that as well. And if you get disconnected, just call back in or log back in, and you should be back in. Okay, so I'm going to introduce Keri now. She's a certified interspecies life awareness coach and has been an animal communicator for more than 20 years. During that time, she has taken a really acute interest in quantum physics and the way electromagnetic waves like light work to connect everything in our world. She holds a degree in holistic health sciences, emphasizing quantum physics healing, and is certified in rapid transformational therapy, and has extensive training in the Humans Understanding Nature and Animals program, as well as in the mind mapping, neurofeedback, and neuroplasticity, and dozens of other energy healing modalities. So she's really an expert in this area. For many years, she also co-hosted the Sacred Animals Voices radio program, and has also been featured on TV, radio, and in several books. Keri has also been a great supporter of Speak Good Human, our site, and she offers lots of advice and tools through the Dear Humans, Dear student letters, attunements, and instructions. So, with that, thank you, Keri, for joining us, for hosting this second workshop on the quantum field connection, and the microphone is all yours.
Thank you, Josh, and thank you, everybody, for allowing me to take your morning up wherever you're living. I'm not sure if we've got people from all over the globe. I can't really see. But I just want to say thank you so much. This really speaks near and dear to my heart. I am a deep, long rescuer in the animal world. That's probably where you'll find me, is down at the SPCA. So speaking of which, I'll probably be down there directly after this as well. I really feel, and I don't know if everyone can relate to this. What is that noise, Josh? Is that from my end?
No, that's people logging in.
Okay. I just wanted to know if it was just because I'm on this phone and not on the computer.
No, you're good.
Okay. Okay, Ian, you can hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, great. So really, I've noticed, like, I tend to be quite the loner, and the older I get, now in my 50s, I find that I've become more and more of a recluse, and I've dealt with being an empath and, picking up everybody's stuff under the sun, and didn't understand it for years until, well, I'm still learning as the rest of us. But what I really have noticed is that a lot of healers are being called to come together now. There's no more of this separateness. That's the old Newtonian model. That's what our doctors and our surgeons and our materialist world would view as healing, which has its place. I have no problems with running to the doctor when I need to. But what I'm really feeling called to is bringing our energies together as one mind, and that really is stepping into what we call the quantum field. And that one mind, I reference it as a non-local mind. That is something that's beyond what we think is sitting behind our noggin on top of our heads. This is a higher version of our material self. So when I reference non-local mind, the field, that's what I'm meaning by that. So what my passion is, and why I give my time to this, is I feel and I've seen the differences when we join forces, we come together. And with Dr. Joe Dispenza, many people may know him, and Dr. Fannin that I trained with in the mind mapping has done hundreds and hundreds of Joe's mind mapping in his courses, so he can quantify how healing happens, the effects the field has on us, and the miraculous healing that has happened during these times. So what was a common denominator was that when people come together, you can measure the field of the room, and it is so amazing to see. At first, the measurements would show a decline in the energy because people are pulling the energy from the field. But as they align and become coherent, and coherent is a word I'm going to use a lot, when they become coherent with clear intention, they would see miracles, and also the field would expand. So what is the field? So this is something that we humans are so addicted to putting words and limits and signposts. So it's really hard for me to almost put into words, but I will do my best. So without going into the full physics, I don't want to take time in this class to cover all of that, and nor is that my gift either. But the quantum field, if you want to call it, is infinite possibilities, vibration, energy, frequency, new probabilities. So outside what we know, beyond our space and time here in what we call our virtual reality, which we call Earth School. It connects matter with energy by the speed of light. It is really called our governing body. Everything is connected by frequency and information, not the intellect. So you're going to hear me talk a lot about stepping into the space. So even when we do the healing part of this, I'm going to really encourage everyone to leave your protocols that you know, like everybody's got their gifts, and I honor that, and I really work with a lot of different healers, and I really want to bring that out in people in my coaching and mentoring work because we're all unique. But what I'm going to encourage today is we're going to step beyond the material realm of our list and protocols and trainings, and we're just going to step into the field of pure potential. And if we get a download that, wow, you just get hit with new information, and if that new information is different than what you normally have been conditioned to do, then great, follow your intuition. So when we look at the, just like a briefing on the quantum field, so I'm just going to take you through the Newtonian model. What I mentioned earlier is what we call the material world, which makes up us, places, things, duality, experiencing life through our senses. So if you were to have the best dessert ever, you need to have your senses to experience it. If you were to drive from New York to LA, you would need your senses and you would need time to experience it, what we perceive as time here on this level. So we are experiencing this through what they call space and time. But when we take it to the quantum field, the non-local, the immaterial world, there is no matter. It's a field of pure potential. All time, all things. We are just oneness, wholeness, unity. And as a result, we lower entropy, which is basically we're either living, growing, or we're dying. So this is what brings in more love and less entropy. So it's a really good reminder that less is more when we step into the field of potential. And you've heard me talk about how we are 99.999, and I won't even get into the exact there, but you get the gist of energy, and we are, 0.01 of matter. So when you think of it that way, when you look at the field of potential, there is just so much space that's within our cells, that's within every part of our being, our DNA, what we think is solid matter. We are nothing but space, and in that space is pure communication. But what varies is the vibration that is in that communication. So Josh, do you have any questions? Does that make sense? Does that kind of cover the basics, do you think, of that question for you? Josh?
I'm here again, okay.
Oh, you scared me. I thought I'm
no,
talking to myself.
It cut out on me, and I just figured it out, okay?
Okay.
Sorry.
So did you hear my question?
No, one more time.
Okay, so my question was, did that make sense to reference the first question that you had asked me?
Yes. Yeah, that
Okay.
makes sense to me. If anybody else needs clarification on that, speak up or put it in the chat, and we'll be happy to clarify some things.
Yeah, and we'll do that maybe at the end, too,
yeah.
Because as I go, I'm going to build on this model as well. I'm just really going with the flow here. I don't come with scripts or concrete anything, because that's really not me being authentic to what the field really is. It's me trusting and showing up with an open heart.
We trust you, too.
Well, that's good, because this computer system sure doesn't.
No.
Anyway, and my cats are all over me right now, so I can hardly move. So, okay, so Josh, did you want to continue then?
Well, what else do you want me to ask you some questions?
Yeah, because you had some questions that you wanted me to reference, so do you want to work at that? Like, I know there was one the science behind the quantum field. And really, to keep it short and sweet, if you think of it as the greater the frequency, the greater the energy. Greater the energy, the greater the information. Greater the information, the greater the consciousness. Greater the consciousness, the greater the awareness. What changes our state of consciousness is awareness. So this is the key, is to really know where our focus and our intention lies. And if we look at it in terms of a laser beam versus an incandescent light that we have in our home. So both of them could be 60 watts, but it depends on the focus of that light. So incandescent is very inconsistent. It's not very efficient. It does its job for lighting our homes, but it does not have anywhere near the precision like a laser. A laser, once it's focused and in line, it can cut through steel. So if you think of that as our job, all we need to understand is how do we create this coherence, this field of possibilities, and how do we bring space, which in that space, as we know now, is consciousness, it is energy, and it is information. And that is the antenna that is transmitting to the field of new possibilities. But our job is to be clear on what our focus is without attachment to the hows and whats and where it's coming from and when in our time zone. So that is, to me, sort of helps, I'm hoping, clarify that question.
Yes, it does, and I probably have endless numbers of questions, but one related to this then would be, if we're making these intentions and putting them into the field, and obviously we are co-creating if it's for somebody else, like an animal, and how does that relate? Does the animal need to know? How does that work?
Well, I think we're jumping ahead a little bit. I think we should maybe step up to getting a little bit more information.
Okay.
And then we can address that, because we might be jumping ahead. What my goal is today is to really share some new, this is new scientific information that now, thanks to our technology, can quantify. And what I really would like to, with the time that we have today, is to really teach you about the awakened mind. And that is really our transceiver into this field of possibilities. So it's not so much a do, but there are some things that they have found that can really take you into what they call the alpha bridge into, most people probably are familiar with brainwaves, but I'll just go through that really quickly here and give you just some references so you can understand what I'm talking about for those that don't understand. I really want to help you understand that as healers, and for us to enter this field of possibilities, we need to be at a certain resonance. So when you think of, and I've mentioned this a lot, the grandfather clocks in a room, and everyone probably remembers grandfather clocks, and you had them all out of sync, what they call out of phase, and you go back into the room, say hours later, and they all are in resonance. They all are in phase. That's what I'm talking about. So our job is to learn with what our hardware is, which is we're dealing with our brain, and we also have our mind. Our mind is our brain in action. Our mind is the area that I'm going to be speaking at quite a bit. So in understanding brain waves, we understand then, okay, if I can lower my brain waves, and I'm not a monk that's meditating out in the mountains of Tibet for 50 hours a week. I mean, most of us have jobs and we have to pay our mortgages, so it's not realistic. So what they have found through certain techniques that you can really tap into this coherence within 4 minutes at the most. When people get used to it, it can drop in seconds. And there's just a few little techniques that I will share with you today. That is the newest and latest research. So I'm going to just expand on brainwaves a little bit. I'm kind of jumping around here, but I think that might be a good place. Is that good?
Yes, go for it.
Okay, good. And I want to keep checking in to make sure that I'm not disconnected here.
Yeah.
All right. So if you look at the brainwaves, we have what they call hertz, and that's cycles per second that they measure. So the lower we go, like say delta, is when we're sleeping. Mystics, monks, people that really have learned to really control their amplitude and the frequency of their brainwaves, they can be in awakened state in delta. And delta is about 1 to 4 cycles per second. That's how things are measured in this world. Then we go into theta. Now, theta is still very inward, so we're very inward focused. We're really focused on inside. We're not outside trying to fix everybody's life and tell everyone how to do things. It's a very meditative state, and healers use this a lot. So there's been a ton of studies that show healers working non-locally that are transmitting, sending frequency, energy to the individual. And a lot of times when there's a healing and a change, whether it's in water, whether it's in the human or the animal, it's around 7.8 cycles per second. So theta is around 4 to 8 cycles per second, and that's what we're going to work in today is alpha theta. Then we're going to alpha now, and it's still inward. It's a very creative, very expressive. You get to explore a lot of your senses through alpha. It tends to be vivid imagery, and different senses can come through. So it's very much where animals live. They're very connected to this, and that's 8 to 12 cycles per second. Then we jump into beta. Now, beta has many different levels. I'm going to simplify this. This is between 12.5 to around 30. Beta is very outward. It's very much the focus of you driving around New York City. You're going to be in beta, and you're going to be in the high end. So you get the gist. It is a very fast, outward, figuring it out, showing up, task-orientated. And then we go into gamma, and this is what Dr. Joe Dispenza has really seen a lot in these miracles and in healing, is when people step into gamma spikes. Now, gamma, I've seen this in mind mapping, and gamma, they can go beyond what the computer can measure in our human terms. So it's beyond our human capacity. And when people have these spikes in gamma, there has been miracles like tumors dissolving, endless researches on that. So just to keep this short and sweet. So that kind of goes through the brain waves. So what I'm going to do shortly is I'm going to teach you a couple techniques that are going to drop you into that very quickly. Because if we're going to send clear intention to Zeus, is a dog we're going to be working with. If we're going to be, and we want to be coherent, laser beam focused, then we want to be down in the lower brain waves, cycles per second, and not up at beta trying to figure out what we're doing. Okay? Hello?
Yes.
Okay, great. You're there. So I really, if it's okay, I really want to bring in quantum entanglement, because this is a really important piece that I do not want to miss during this call today.
Okay.
Okay?
Sounds
So
good.
just stop me, Josh, if I'm losing you or anybody, just stop me, okay?
Yes. It's 8:30,
okay.
by the way, or
Okay.
my time.
I'm not going to be too much longer. This is my problem, everyone, is I have so much information that I get overwhelmed. Okay, I can share this and I can share that. And then I just get overwhelmed and I go like, Keri, this is my lesson. You just do little bits and you can do more another day. So you have to keep reminding me this, Josh. Okay, so I'm going to talk about quantum entanglement because this is the key. This is my total passion. This is what the animals have taught me over and over again. And anyone that works with animals in healing knows this. So, Josh, I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Okay.
If you were to work with a person, say, that comes in, or even a friend that comes in, they're very upset. They're livid. They may be crying. What do you think the best approach is, empathy or sympathy?
Well, to truly help them, I guess it depends on your approach, but empathy would put you in their shoes and maybe in their problem and maybe not be able to see a way out. But sympathy would keep you in a spot that might help you solve the issue.
Okay, great. So both have their place. So if you look at sympathy, it's, oh, I can only imagine what you're going through. Whereas empathy is, I feel you. But this is the thing. When people are triggered, and I know that I've been upset with people that just want to give me a to-do list when I'm full on in an emotional response or a traumatic event, and they're trying to give me a to-do list and how to fix it. And so what happens in our brains, the amygdala, which a lot of people probably have heard, and that responds a lot in trauma and emotional responses. So there is something that so if we really understand how the brain works, so we have our right brain. And our right brain, if you think of it as music, you are going to be looking at it as an orchestra. There's many layers. You can see the big picture. It's not small details like the left brain. It's not one note that's just very linear. It's not explaining like the right side is describing. So if you come in when someone's heightened in their amygdala activity, and you come in and you try to jump to left brain with your list and protocol, you are going to actually shut that person down. They're not going to be able to receive any healing from you whatsoever. So this is great with kids, is to first go in with that space of just showing up like we do with animals. Listen, sense in, feel their heart rate, their breath. Just feel in. And do not jump over to the left brain until you know that they have been heard and validated. And you're going to know, because what happens is there is a chemical that literally squirts onto the amygdala that calms. Then you have the go-ahead to go into your left brain approach. Make sense?
Yes, that's interesting.
Okay, so it's something that we are so guilty of as humans, and what I love about working with the animals, what do we have to do, is we have to truly show up and shut up and listen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what is the hardest thing for us humans to do?
Exactly that.
Yeah. So I'm going to, on that note, going to share a few little techniques before we start working with Zeus. And these techniques will change your neurotransmitters and your hormones that are sloshing around in your cells. You will increase oxytocin, your connection love molecule, that you belong, dopamine, the feel-good chemicals, the stuff that people get hooked on, drugs, computers, gaming, and such. Serotonin, satisfaction, feeling at peace and ease. DHEA, for example, the youth hormone. And anandamide, which is a bliss hormone. So there are just a few examples of what happens. And as we are activating those hormones, we are deactivating the stress hormones. So it's kind of like taking the foot off the gas pedal of the sympathetic nervous system, which is the one that wants us to run from the tiger, and instead it's accelerating the parasympathetic nervous system, which is calming, which is allowing gene expression to change the DNA expression. You're going to be down-regulating and upregulating the genes that bring in health and cell repair. So I'm going to just ask everybody to just imagine their tongue. And your tongue is one of the first places that we tighten. And we're very unconscious with this. It's something you have to repeat and repeat and repeat over and over and over to remind yourself to relax your tongue. So there is something called the hypoglossal nerve, which runs through your tongue. It has several branches toward the end of your tongue, and it moves through the back of your tongue in a single branch into what they call a nerve complex, which sits at the back of your skull. And that is connected to the vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve, a lot of people probably have heard of. It's what calms, which governs the parasympathetic nervous system. It puts us into the place of healing and back to coherence. And that's the state we want to be in if we truly are stepping into new possibilities. So everyone just try. Just close your eyes. Just relax your tongue. Allow it to drop to the floor of your mouth. And at the same time, imagine space behind your eyes. So your tongue relaxing and space between your eyes. How does that feel for you, Josh, since you're the only one that can talk right now?
Well, I think others can also talk if they want, but we'll keep that for later. But it's interesting because when you asked me that, my tongue was tensed up for no apparent reason, but I relaxed that, and everything feels like I'm in a nice mode now.
And that right there changed your chemicals that I just referenced. It changed your brain waves, even that alone. Now I'm going to add another piece to it. And we're just going to go in with a 6-second breath. And a lot of people are probably familiar because what we're creating is heart coherence and brain coherence. And that is our transmitter, that's our antenna into the field of new possibilities. If we're not in harmony, we tend to be like remember the difference in lighting from laser to incandescent lighting? So that's all. Our focus is going to be weak, and our intentions just kind of blow up in our faces usually, and we go, see, this crap doesn't work. So that's really what we're going to step into now. We're going to incorporate this. So just focus on your chest area. A lot of people are probably familiar with heart math. They do a lot of this. So if you just breathe in through your heart, and you're going to count for 6 seconds, and release 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe in through your heart, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And just bring your awareness to your empty space behind your eyes and your tongue. Feeling the rhythm, slowing. Your breath through your heart stays down low. You're not up in your throat or shrugging your shoulders up. We're calming the brain waves as we do it. Instead of having spikes on the mountains, we're having just rolling hills. So if I had you hooked up to a EEG, we would just see rolling. How does that feel, Josh?
Good. I'm relaxed.
Okay, great. So that's what we're going to do when we connect with Zeus. So is there any questions before we work with him that you have on behalf of everybody else? And then we'll do question and answer, or what do you think, or should we do it first? Well, you know what? I think we should do it last, because then people share their experience with what they had with Zeus.
Mm-hmm. So you'll instruct us a little more about what we should be or shouldn't be thinking or anything like that?
Well, see, what did you just say?
Well, I know what I said.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, I mean, are we simply doing what you just said? And
you got it.
And
I'll walk you through it.
Okay.
I'll walk you through it. But all your focus is you're going to be in your heart breathing for 6 seconds just to get you calm. So I want you to at least be able to do 6 of those before we start. So it'll be 6 in, 6 out, and just feeling that rhythm and your tongue relaxed and space behind your eyes. And for people like Josh and myself that have busy minds, you can also do some tapping, and I will just share a couple little things at the beginning of our connection with Zeus to help break up that static for you as well. So does that sound good?
That sounds good. I've done some screen sharing right now, so if you're logged in, you should be able to see Zeus on your screen somewhere. On mine, it's in the bottom left. If you can't, there's also a link to Zeus on the Speak Good Human site, as well as a photo in the meeting resources area. So if you can reach any of those, great. And if you can't, you're still good. It could still work.
So I just want to share first while you're finding Zeus. And if not, don't worry about it. You're going to be connected with him anyhow. Zeus is, he's really entered my space, if you want to call it. He's a very special boy. He was found, I don't even know where. I'm in Canada, but I know somewhere around my area. And he was found outside with porcupines, a horrible amount of them, all over his face in area. And he was taken in for surgery before he came to the SPCA. He was infested with all kinds of stuff, like he was in pretty rough shape. And he is the most gentle guy. He even a dog even attacked him on top of everything at the shelter on Friday, which out of all the dogs, it just figures it was Zeus. So he's got that energy. And I know he's not well. I'm not even going to get into, I'm not planting any seeds for anyone right now. But what I do wonder, and, there is concerns, is a lot of these porcupine quills can affect the nervous system, and they're still migrating out after weeks. So you can even take pliers and pull them. That's how gentle this boy is. And he is, to me, he's not engaged. He's coming around with me now, but he's not right, and I know that in my heart. So I've even offered to go work at the vet clinic to pay his whatever tests need to be done next, because that's how committed I am to him getting more information for his healing. So anyhow, what I'm going to ask everyone to just do the best you can with just letting go and allowing, and there's no right or wrong. So if you start getting a monkey mind, it's all good. You just know that, okay, I want to pull my awareness back to my focus. And all our job is going to be today is just extending love to this boy. And whether he receives it or not isn't up to us. But he's so checked out that it would be like me, like when I talked about the right and left brain, it would be like me trying to do a left brain approach with a being that's not even able to connect right now. So what we want to do is create that sacred space for him to heal, to express. If he wants to express anything to anybody, please share afterwards. I'm just going to ask you, at the beginning to try to really put your focus on the techniques that I just shared to get you dropped into that state. That will help with our healing intention. So, Josh, I am just going to keep it as a symbol of love. And if everyone just wants to envision a big bubble of love, and I just draw little squiggly circles around that love, and I just do a couple squiggles around. I allow space in between, so it's like a circle of love and then a couple squiggles, and that's just showing the field that we are in. Does that make sense, Josh, to you?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay, great. So I am going to just invite everybody to imagine a ring of energy connecting everyone here now. Breathe in and out through your heart. Visualize a huge circle of love connecting us all together, while embodying the highest possible version of you. Breathe in through your heart while relaxing your tongue and noticing and being aware of the space behind your eyes. Breathing in for 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Out 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Relaxing your tongue. Allowing space between your eyes. Now imagine a beam of energy flowing from the top of your head up to the universe, the non-local mind that connects you with all fields of all life. As we connect with each other, and as we connect with this universe that connects us all, bringing all the gifts of the universe into our hearts, into our bodies, and using our bodies consciously, deliberately, to embody that universal pulse of life. which links to this wonderful community of people that are here now or in the future. Just allow your breath for 6 seconds. And out. Relaxing your tongue and creating space between your eyes. Now bring awareness to your hands. Cross your hands over your heart. And I'm just going to invite you to tap on your heart with your other hand that's closest to your chest. And just allow yourself to release anything, everything that stands between you and inner peace. I now release anything and everything that stands between me and healing. Just switch hands and tap with the other one. Relax your tongue. I release all tensions in my body, including my tongue. And again, I release anything and everything that stands between me and inner peace. Stop tapping, relax your hands, relax your tongue on the roof of your mouth. Now picture a big empty space between your eyes. Imagine your breath coming in and out of your heart in that beautiful coherence. Breathe in through your heart and out through your heart. Now I'm going to invite you to send a beam of energy out through your heart to Zeus. Relax your tongue. Notice the color of this energy beam. Notice the shape, texture of this energy. Feel this beam of energy growing from your heart to Zeus's heart. Keep expanding it wider, wider, and wider. But at the same time with that clear, focused intention of love. Relax your tongue. Focus this big empty space behind your eyes. Keep breathing through your heart while enjoying this beautiful beam of energy going from your heart to his heart. This field is expanding and expanding. This electromagnetic field around you is growing, and in this field is new information. And this is being offered to beautiful Zeus. Just keep bringing your awareness back to your tongue. Space between your eye. And holding that focused intention of just pure love. Notice if anything drops into your field, any information, anything that Zeus might bring forward. He may even offer you something to release. And we may offer him something, which would be love. You may be drawn to a place in Zeus, in his physical self, that needs healing. Or you might not. Allow. Relax your tongue. Breathing in through your chest. Feeling your own heart energy. The energy in your chest. Imagine the connection with the rest of this community and anyone that will participate in the future, what we perceive as the future. It is growing and growing, expanding. There's no energy that can pull this out of alignment. It is too strong. Let every one of Zeus's cells bathe in this beauty. Swim in healing coherence. May his heart, his circulation, his nervous system, his skeletal system, his organs, endocrine systems, let go, relax. Relax your tongue. And when you're ready, I'm going to ask you to bring your awareness back into your heart and filling yourself up as well. Any area that is in pain or struggles or might be diseased or you just don't like, just allow that energy to focus into those areas. Feel your breath going in and out through your heart. Tongue relaxed. And the space to create. When you're ready, I'm going to ask you to bring your awareness back in fully to your body. Take another 3 6-second breaths. And when you're finished with the breath, I want you to open your eyes, look around, and notice anything that is purple in your environment. What is the biggest object that is in front of you? And feel your hands and your feet. And we know that Zeus is swimming in the sea of love. This healing, it's not gone away. He has free will. He can leave at any time he chooses. That spa is there for him as long as he chooses. Thank you, everybody. And I'd love to hear feedback and what your experience was. And if there's further questions, there's just so much in this subject that, like I said earlier, it's overwhelming for me to keep it short and sweet. So how are you doing, Josh?
Good. It was interesting. I thought you would probably ask me my experience, so I was initially kind of feeling pressure to actually come up with something to tell you. So I had to specifically to just tell myself, okay, I'm just going to be receiving here. I'm just experiencing. And
yay.
Yeah, so that I got to that point and I sent the light, and it turned out to be a golden light. And it was so interesting that you were referencing bathing in the coherence and all that, because the whole visual that I had the entire time, even before you said that, was of Zeus in this water. It felt like a healing pool, and that's where he was the whole time. And he was sort of resigned to being there, but in a calm, easygoing way, like that was just what he's doing now. And I didn't see any resolution for him. It just felt like he needed time to heal, and that's where he was.
And beautiful.
And I also did get the visual of some of the porcupine spines in his heart, and I think that was probably just, symbolically, but I don't know.
Well, you know what, he is displaying weird heart rhythms.
Okay.
My feeling, but I'm curious if the rest of the group, any insights or anything, is so welcome. I'm actually too close to him now. I'm too invested that it's kind of hard for me.
Let me see if I can figure out how to put on this. Let me see here. Questions and answers.
Yeah, I'd love for people just to share. Even if you don't have words, it's okay, just how you feel.
All right, well, it's now in Q&A session. I'm not sure what that means. It just says here that you can... Oh, there already is a question. Great. Let's see here. Let's see how this works. Oh, hold on. Annie.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah,
Okay, we have Annie calling in, and you have a question or a comment?
I've got a comment. It's about Zeus, if that's okay.
Yes, of course.
So, hi Keri. When we made the circle, I just got the word from him, which was guardian, and what he, I believe, conveying was that he had been the guardian for a human, and for some reason this person was taken away from him, and Zeus then didn't feel he had a purpose or any role, and so when he got into the state in which he was found, he almost felt he deserved it because he'd failed. And he doesn't, or he hadn't, I hope he has now, he didn't have a sense of how he could continue in his life. He didn't see a future, and that was holding him back. I also felt that some of these porcupine quills had somehow poisoned, something toxic had gone into his system. But he just, it's almost like he's here, but he doesn't know what he's supposed to do with being here.
Really interesting.
Okay.
Let's see. I'm trying to... Keri, sorry, I think you were muted. Keri, you're back on unmute. Sorry.
Oh, am I? Okay. Sorry. Thank you. That was beautiful. And you know what? It absolutely resonates. Like, I actually have tears because he is so, like, it's like he has no purpose, and he's just started to engage where he will look up at me and kind of a dog, but it's like he just like he's one of those lightning rods for disaster. And I feel too that those quills, I do feel his system is very compromised, like something something is really, really off on many levels, but that makes total sense, and it validates my feeling is there's toxicity going on, there's heart issues going on, and I think that's why I was wanting to be really gentle with integrating him back into his body. I think he's got to really choose what he wants. So thank you. Would you agree with what I just said?
Yeah, absolutely, I would. It's like he's at a point of choice. You know, and he can go now, or he could start to respond. But I think he will need a lot of encouragement to help him get over this feeling that he's failed, and this purposelessness. I think it's interesting that Josh, you saw him swimming in this pool, but he wasn't going anywhere. He was just swimming, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So it's like he's here, and he's loved, and he is cared for, but he needs to have focus of his own. And I think that is a very, as you say, Keri, it's a very, very long process to give him his confidence back. And let's hope that we've done something to help him do that.
And I will know, because I know this is a challenging case that I brought forward, but I had to, because he needs whatever support on all levels. And I really appreciate that, Anna. That speaks to me and his situation a lot. Do you have any suggestions? Like, even if you want to do things on your own, would be great. And we can continue this on the quantum field or the quantum connection Facebook as well. If anybody wants to continue putting energy in for Zeus, would be wonderful.
Yeah. Well, I certainly would. Could I just suggest one little remedy before I shut up?
Yeah, no, go right ahead.
This is for the poison. Do you have the batch remedies?
I personally do, but remember I'm dealing with the shelter, so I do have tape to go through, but I have brought in remedies before. What would you suggest?
I would suggest the rescue remedy and crabapple, because that is very, very good at getting rid of poisons and toxicity.
Okay, so crabapple and rescue. Okay.
Or we could just do it vibrationally if there's too much red tape.
Yeah, well, that's kind of how I do a lot of that through radionics. So yeah, but I'm like I said, I'm so open. If you want to do that, that would be amazing.
Oh yeah, he's absolutely adorable.
He is. Like, I've got such a soft spot. Like, I mean, I deal with a lot of them, and I get really, emotionally involved. But him, like, seriously, I'll have a window before I have to go to work. I'm going to run down and see him. It's to consume my life. Oh gosh, that's beautiful. Anna, share anything too. I'll give my email out at the end, and also on that Facebook group if you want to join. If you're not already on, that would be great.
Thank you. I will. Thank you so much.
Yeah, what
Thank
Keri
you
is talking
so
about,
much.
we have a quantum field connection Facebook group, and you can find it from the Speak Good Human Quantum Field page or from the Facebook page.
Yeah.
We have quite a few people there who are interested in learning more and working with animals there and interacting and maybe pairing off sometimes if they want to see how it works. So check that out. Does anybody else have any other questions or comments? I think this Q&A mode has muted everybody, so I think there should be a button somewhere where you could press Q&A and ask a question or make a comment. And if so, I will unmute you at that point. No, anybody?
Any feedback on how they felt just by relaxing the tongue in that space and the breathing would be great too, or just even if they don't have a lot of so-called what we call insights, but just sharing how they feel.
If you are just calling in and you do want to comment or offer some feedback, I think you can press *6 on your phone and it should get you in there as well. Keri, so my question is, when we initially started this back in February, setting an intention for the animals seemed important. And we didn't really do that this time. We simply...
We did. It was love.
Oh, okay. Creating the space for... Okay.
Yeah, love is, honestly, that's what we're here for, is entropy is death, and love is growth and healing and coherence and a higher frequency. So it's like you're turning on a beautiful radio station with soothing music versus obnoxious, annoying music. And I mean, and I've said this so many times, is, I mean, do you sit on your couch and will your radio station to change? Or do you go up and change the channel? So what I suggest is always, every time you start wandering or wanting to bring in a lot of talk and just old programs, it's just keep changing the radio station back. Bring your focus through, and I'm not kidding you, that tongue, the space between your eyes and your breathing will put you in that state within seconds once you get practiced at it, or 4 minutes at the most.
Is this the same state or a state that can be used with actual animal communication? Is that where you want to...
Yeah, because that's where animals reside. They're not up in our left brain trying to figure out how to pay the bills and figure out their list of protocols. So what our problem is, we have a very divided brain. We have one side really developed and the other underdeveloped, and our corpus callosum, which is the communicator between two, is becoming smaller and smaller. Surprise, surprise. We are becoming less connected the more we spend on the internet thinking we're connecting. So what I shared with you today is tools to really help bring that communication into both lobes. And when we create a whole brain working together, we have healing. We have health. We have new upregulating of genes. And also the feel-good hormones. And that you felt that right away, even just by that tongue in space between your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Does that answer that question in a long-winded way?
Oh, yeah, it was great. It's one thing to hear what to do, but another to understand why are we doing this and how is it helping.
And I think the biggest thing is we always want the words, and it's the space between. It's just like, okay, I get that now, and then just experience it, and you'll experience when you go in and out, and that's perfect, because then you have a quantitative measurement. Oh, I'm not there. I'm not really focused. The other thing that I wanted to mention, and I actually just about brought this up, but that I wanted to practice what I preached about less is more in this connection with Zeus. But if you look at water, and you and I and everyone on this group knows we're 70% water, and if we look at water, we know that we can change the molecules by doing distance energy work, Reiki, whatever method you want, as long as we are in this space that we were talking about today, then we can alter the effects on the water. And we know that water is pretty much 70% on this planet. We have more water than anything in our bodies, in our cells. So if you look at water as we put a pot of water on the stove, and then we add more energy to it. So our energy would come in the form of me turning on the burner, and we would then create more energy, which would then create steam. So we're taking it to a higher frequency. And then if I want to pull energy out, I would put that water in the freezer. So if you even look at something like, say you're working with an individual with, say, a tumor, well, would you want to add more energy to the tumor, or do you want to add or take away? So it's something to think about when you can slow down energy and you can speed it up. And there are tests now that healers that can change radioactive substances, which is that's like us talking about defying gravity. And they can slow it down and speed it up with intention alone. And that's how they do it.
Well, I know the videos that we posted on this wall here, and we'll send them out later as well. They're pretty incredible. I've seen some of them before, but it's just showing how these frequencies can affect water and flames and any kind of element in a dramatic way instantly.
And that's why I keep going back and keep saying, what is your coherence and what is your intention? And is it focused, or is it our light bulb that is very, it's just not efficient? So what is it? And it's okay if we're not there. I'm not there a lot of times in my life, but I know when I'm not, and then I make the conscious choice, like doing the exercises that I shared with you today, because that's wonderful that you don't have to spend hours producing that state. if you just do those 3 exercises that I shared with you.
Okay. What would you suggest now if people wanted to go to the Speak Good Human site and work with some of the animals in that section for the quantum field? How would you suggest they approach that?
Kind of the same way if you're not sure. And I would start out with less is more. So instead of going in with an agenda, practice going in with just love and allowing them to show you, and allow your non-local mind, not our local mind stuck behind our eyeballs in our old program and our old beliefs, allow that non-local mind to work through you. And if you're guided, like Anna, she got guidance, that was beautiful. But it may be just showing up and extending that energy from your heart with laser beam focus and holding that intention of love. And if you feel like, okay, you're drawn to focus in one area, say they have a sore leg, well, then you can add energy, take away energy. You mean just follow what your strengths and your gifts are. I'm not here to tell people to be robots. This isn't about us. This is about connection to that non-local, the field of all possibilities. And when we have that focus, then what they call in quantum physics, they talk about the particle and the wave. And they're both happening at the same time, but the observer effect is what they call it. And what we put our focus on collapses into what they call particle. And that's what we see as manifestation. But we need to be clear. And that clarity can just be showing up, like we talked about the right brain. Like Zeus, we could not go in, and Anna would agree, and I'm sure most people on the call, and start telling him how he needs to heal. Get in your body, get connected, we love you, you should feel it, blah, blah. That's not healing. That's us projecting a bunch of left brain, linear, one-note theory. He needs to build. And a lot of the animals that you'll see posted, the ones that I have on there, are animals that have had a rough start. So and the animals that I've posted, by the way, for the group, were animals that were in the shelter, some of them for 8 years. So these aren't animals that, just by fluke, that they were adopted. No, after we set intentions and worked with them, there was transformation of some sort.
Yeah, that was my next question, and also just a comment. If you aren't at the stage of feeling or seeing anything while you're doing any of these things, including with animal communication, that's okay. Know that it's still working. All the stuff still is happening.
And in fact, less is more. We are addicted to thinking we're doing it because we've seen this picture and that picture, just for people to hold that space. That's like when I talked about the right brain approach. Just feel them. Love them. And I really can't say it enough, that's the field, is space.
Great. Any other questions?
Is there anyone else that come through with any questions or comments or any feedback? Because I'm only doing this from my heart, guys, so anything that you feel is helpful, because I want to know if it's worth to continue or not to continue.
If anybody's out there who would still like to make a comment, you feel free to unmute yourself if you're able to, or join the Q&A.
And if not, we'll wrap up, I guess, right, Josh?
Yes.
We'll close this up for everybody.
Well, thank you all for attending and for joining in and for helping Zeus. I would say, Keri, if they wanted to continue helping, what would be a plan of action? Would it be a daily thing, or?
It's what they choose. I mean, it would be great if you could just check in with him, but even it's up to each individual what works in their life.
Okay. And since there's no
I'm
time,
not here to...
it's all cumulative then.
Absolutely. It's just more energy into the pot.
Okay. And then as far as seeing results, obviously we've seen results with all the other animals we've put in the field, but is there any other way people can know that this is working?
Well, and define working, because we don't know what his path is. He may choose to go. That may be what he chooses. So this is what I've learned, is to be really unattached. I can share anything, any progress that he makes, because I am there so often. I at least know. And the nice thing about it is the new manager there is really open to things. I was always very quiet for years. I just go in and do my thing, and no one has a clue what I do behind closed doors, if you want to say. And it's really being monitored, because they need to know what to do with this boy as well. And being an SPCA dog, there's not money to be sending him for MRIs and such. So to me, like I said, I'm willing to even go work it off, but the vet here, obviously they can't do MRIs, and so there's a limit to what I can, help with from that physical standpoint of you learning if there's actually physical, even quills, like you had mentioned, Josh, in his heart.
Yeah.
There really could be. So let's just trust that what we're doing will allow him to release and to bring in new and receive.
Okay.
And just follow your guidance. If you feel guided to approach it in a different way that day, then do that.
Yeah, and it's certainly, if you have anything that you want to share, the Facebook group or the comment section right under Zeus on the website is a great way to do that. And then we all kind of can keep tabs on what's happening, and it'd be great. Okay.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us and taking your time out of your day and being there for the animals.
Yes, I agree with that. Have a good day, everyone. We'll post.
And also, Josh, sorry.
Yeah, I think I'll try to post this recording at some point. I'll let everybody know. Okay. And I just wanted to mention for Anna, she might want my contact as well. Or anyone else that wants. Yeah, Annie, if you are on I have a link to Keri's website as well on there. But
yes, please.
Yeah, okay. I'll send it out with everybody too.
Thank you.
Okay. And also, I just wanted to mention too that anyone that's interested in any coaching, mentoring work, which is my passion, and it's specific for you, nobody else, I'm offering a complimentary RTT, Rapid Transformational Therapy session, which people pay hundreds of dollars a session for this. I've been certified in this, and it's really great and really blowing out some of your blocks too. If you're finding you have a lot of things that you feel like they keep getting in your way. So anyways, I'm offering that as well today for this group.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.